It's only been a few hours, but what an amazing night. We've got a million things to get to. I did the pregame show, the halftime show, the postgame show. Have been doing it since the Rams returned from back to Los Angeles from St. Louis 6 years ago. 2 Super Bowl appearances and a Super Bowl championship in 6 years. Yeah, we will definitely take that along the way. A terrific night at SoFi last night. Tonight's podcast is brought to you by Bet Online. Okay, so let's get right to it, right? I'm a little giddy, not going to lie. It was so much fun last night at SoFi Stadium. And LA just absolutely turned out. And if there's one thing that we're very, very good at here in Los Angeles is throwing parties. And it was an incredible party, an incredible halftime show, just a great game, just a perfect little button on a postseason that was probably as good as you're ever going to see. Really, other than the wild card round, almost every game after that was extraordinary. The divisional round, the championship games, and then, of course, the Rams winning that game last night, 23-20, when Matthew Stafford found Cooper Kupp in the corner of the end zone, and then Aaron Donald doing what he does. We are going to get to all of that. Okay, so let's start right with it. The decision that Sean McVay made that I believe turned that game around. The Rams had nothing going, right? They got off to a very good start. They scored a couple of touchdowns, one to Odell Beckham Jr., one to Cooper Kupp, and it felt like that game was teetering in that, the Bengals better buckle up because this is entering 49er Bronco territory. This is entering 49er San Diego Charger territory. This is something that could get very ugly very quickly. And to the Bengals' credit, they very quickly locked in and were able to kind of stem the tide right there. They scored some points of their own. They ran a trick play. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit as well. But then the Rams' offense just stopped. It just stopped. A lot had to do with Odell Beckham Jr. going down with that knee injury towards the end of the second quarter. They really never got their running game on track at all. Whether it was Darrell Henderson, whether it was Sony Michel, whether it was Cam Akers, none of those guys were really able to find any sort of rhythm along the way, and nothing was happening. Cooper Kupp was getting doubled and tripled, and Cooper Kupp can't get open, and all of a sudden Ben Skoranek is dropping balls, and Kendall Blanton was nowhere, and Bryson Hopkins, who'd had one catch all season long, all of a sudden is an integral part of the offense, and somebody like Van Jefferson really never gets going at all, and it looks like the Rams have got nothing cooking. In fact, they had 9 yards of total offense about halfway through the fourth quarter, when they went on that game-winning drive, when they finally decided to lock in. And that is when Sean McVay made the most important decision that I think he's made in his entire coaching career. And this coaching career has been very, very good. But the decision he made with about 4 minutes to go in that game was as simple as this. Bleep it. Bleep it. Enough of this. We're not doing this. Throw it to him. Throw it to number 10. Throw it to him every single time. And that's more or less what they did throughout the entire fourth quarter. Think about that final drive. That final drive was a 15-play, 79-yard drive that took just under 5 minutes off the clock, 4:48 off the clock, 15 plays. Of those 15 plays, 8 of them went to Cooper Kupp. And we're going to go through some of these play by play because that was the decision that changed everything. Instead of trying to run the offense, instead of trying to find a, keep them honest, to make sure that, they got to respect the run, it really went down to simple backyard football, which is, who's my best guy? Okay, that's Cooper Kupp. Get open. I'll throw you the ball. And it worked. And you could tell me 100 times that that's what they're going to do. And I don't know if it works very often because, look, those guys on the other side, those guys that says they're NFL players. They knew that the ball was going to go to Cooper Kupp. They knew that it was going to happen, but it just wasn't good enough. And it starts on a 4th and 1 play. The Rams get the ball back. The fourth quarter was just the two teams punting the ball back and forth to each other. Neither team was really doing anything. I want to talk about the Cincinnati offense later on in the podcast because I thought the Rams defense did an extraordinary job. I know that they had 20 points along the way, but it really was the result of 2 plays. And other than that, the Rams defense was absolutely lights out. But they go into that fourth quarter. There's about 6 minutes left, six and a half, and they've got 9 yards of total offense. Cooper Kupp at this point has been targeted 6 times in the whole game. He got targeted 8 times on the final drive. That's the difference in that. That was the decision that made. And everybody that's in the press box where I was last night, I'm looking at Twitter, and everybody is going on and on. And by the way, you should follow me on Twitter at Travis Rogers after you subscribe to Locked On Rams in the podcast here. It was throw the ball to Kupp. throw the ball to Kupp. Look, would you rather take your chances with Cooper Kupp or with anybody else on that offense? And it was pretty obvious. We'll take our chances with Cooper Kupp. They get to 4th and 1, first down, second down, third down. They can't get anything going. You're thinking, okay, do they even have time to punt this away again? They have to get points on this drive. 4th and 1, and they do a little end around to Cooper Kupp. He makes a guy miss on the right side. He cuts it up. He picks up 3 or 4 yards, first down. Okay, now they're cooking a little bit. They're able to do it just a little bit. Then on a 2nd and 2 play from the Cincinnati 46, they hit a 22-yarder to Cooper Kupp. It was one of that little sidearm, almost no-look action from Matthew Stafford. Just an extraordinary catch there. Then it's incomplete to Van Jefferson. Then it's incomplete to Darrell Henderson. And now what do? All of a sudden, we're down deeper into their territory because of another catch by Cooper Kupp. And you're in that, okay, we're in the red zone. We have a chance to score points. You're almost thinking, okay, do you score right away? Are they going to try to let you in because they need time back? And they're in that weird part of the clock. But because it's a 4-point lead, because Johnny Hekker botched a hold on a PAT, you can't kick a field goal for a tie. So they're playing like crazy. All of a sudden, you get to a point where you have a play where there's a hold, okay? Now Cooper Kupp is held on a play. Now there's a pass interference on a play. And then, of course, the one in the back of the end zone. Cooper Kupp gets a ball from Matthew Stafford, and he takes about as tough a shot as you're going to see. Just absolutely obliterated in the back of the end zone. He goes down hard, hits the ground hard, holds onto the ball, inbounds, place erupts for about a half a second, and then you look around and you see that there's flags on the field. Offsetting penalties, Rob Havenstein, offsides, an illegal hit on the Bengals. So he takes the shot of shots that should have been the catch to put them ahead late in a Super Bowl, the catch that you play around with in the backyard as a kid, right? Okay, there's 2 minutes left. I'm going to go catch one behind the orange tree and catch a touchdown to win the Super Bowl. He got to do that. Only the price he paid was he got his block knocked off, and it didn't count. I don't know what he was feeling in those moments, but I can't imagine that there weren't some stadium spins going on, that there wasn't a little bit, what exactly is happening right now? That counted, that doesn't count. It doesn't count. They run the ball, they get to the 1 yard line, right? They run the ball, no luck. And then they do what everybody in the building knew they were going to do. They run it to Cooper Kupp. They run a play to Cooper Kupp, only they ran a play. Look, I've been watching the Rams every game since they came back here to Los Angeles. I have not seen them throw but a very, very small handful of fades to Cooper Kupp. That's just not a route that they typically use him for. That's why OBJ was here. They throw that ball to Robert Woods. They'll throw that fade to Van Jefferson. They are not throw it very often to Cooper Kupp, and they did it right there. It gave them the lead and ultimately ended up with them winning the Super Bowl because of that play and Aaron Donald and Matthew Stafford. Just I don't know if there were a lot of other options for Sean McVay right there, but that decision to basically just take the game plan, throw it off to the side and say, you know what? I spent a lot of time on this. I am a football savant. I know how all this stuff works, but you know what? Right now, tonight, 5 minutes to go in this game, we're going to stop messing around, and I'm going to throw it to Cooper Kupp over and over and over again, and it worked. 6 targets with 6 minutes and 13 seconds left in the game all night long. And then he gets 8 more on the final drive. That was the decision that changed everything for the Rams. That was the decision that let Sean McVay basically check every box in his coaching career at 36 years old, which is pretty extraordinary along the way.